God, that you remind us that we are here to be kind and have open hearts, Jesus, as we hear the testimony today. Never let us forget, Lord God, that our obligation is not to serve ourselves, but to serve the 11 million men and women and children that look to us, Lord God, to care for them each and every day. We ask these things in the name of your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'm going to ask, we've got SB 503, which I'm going to present, so I'm going to transfer powers over to my chairman and pro tem to do that. And then I've also got Brad here. Yes, Brad.
Okay, we are looking at Senate Bill 503. The LC number is 461445S. That's what you should have in your folder, committee members. Brad, welcome. Please introduce yourself and who you're with.
Hi, my name is Brad Nail, here on behalf of Airbnb.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. This bill is really a transparency bill, but also a consumer protection bill. Airbnbs have become extremely popular, and people are renting out their houses and have houses that they're in that marketplace from that standpoint. Under the current policy or in the current agreement that's there is a guarantee for property damage, and this is dealing with property damage only. It's not dealing with liability, it's dealing with property damage. And there's a guarantee that is provided by Airbnb to the owner of the house. And what this bill is simply going to do is we're going to add to that insurance as a backup to the guarantee. It's really more a consumer protection that if one of us wanted to put our house up and put it out on Airbnb, that it's not only the guarantee of the Airbnb, but it is also insured from that standpoint. And then I'm going to let Brad, if you will, address that because of how that affects your industry as well, if you do that for us.
Yes, thank you. Good to be here. I just a word that so the committee is aware that this is based on an NCOIL model that we worked on for quite a while. Senator Walker actually was instrumental in passing that, and we worked with the insurance industry, with regulators, with quite a few stakeholders to get to this point. The bill, as the chairman said, the bill does a couple of things. It's mostly a technical bill in that it takes this type of guarantee that we're offering and it puts it in the statute, it codifies it, similar to what you've already done with service contracts and things of that nature. It does require a reimbursement insurance policy to be the backstop for the guarantee. So the guarantee that the Airbnb, as an example, offers is not insurance, and so therefore we require that reimbursement insurance policy to sit in the background in case the guarantor did not fulfill its obligations. And there are, as the chairman said, there are some consumer protection issues with that and also with some notification requirements that are also part of the bill. And really there are about half the states, I think it's 24 states, already have some statutory language that we think would capture this type of exemption. Georgia does not have that, so we would appreciate seeing that in the statute.
Would I be correct also in saying this? This is more of a consumer protection issue than anything else, am I correct?
Yes.
That if somebody's contracting, there's an insurance policy that they can come and fall back on from that standpoint, correct?
Yes, sir. It's good to have that insurance backstop. We're the catcher, but that's the backstop.
Okay, very good.
And Brad, my understanding is this is not to supplant the homeowner's insurance policy. This is really a lower limit, basically so the homeowner does not have to file a claim on their homeowner's insurance, or if the homeowner has say a $5,000 deductible, or which we're seeing more and more higher deductibles on homeowners insurance, that they're not having to come out of pocket. So these guarantees are for minor damage caused by the renter to the marketplace owner of the property, your house, let's say, or some, just property that you own, and you're renting it out through this platform, and there's minor damage, maybe they punch a hole in the sheetrock and it's, $1,200 or $800.
Yes, sir.
So expound on that just a minute, because I just
Yes,
want
sir.
them to understand that we're not replacing homeowners insurance. And the chairman already mentioned it's not liability coverage either.
Yes, sir. I think you captured it perfectly. It doesn't compete with homeowners insurance. I think most people would not want to go through their homeowners policy for some minor damage while they've rented it out. And also, as you mentioned, most of these damages are in the hundreds of dollars and would not be under your deductible anyway, so you wouldn't have coverage under the homeowners policy. And there are some homeowners policies that would just exclude while you've got it rented out commercially. So this is the best tool, we think, for the homeowner to give them peace of mind that if there is some damage while it's rented out through in particular our platform, they have recourse to be paid for that damage.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, but I guess I've generated some questions now. So, Chair recognizes number 10. Is that,
That's me.
Senator
Okay.
Merritt?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of questions. So this isn't like this isn't,
Put your mic to
Sorry.
you, please.
sorry, I
Because
didn't know I
we're
didn't
live
have it.
streaming, I guess.
Okay, so these guarantees, they function like insurance, but they're not full coverage insurance. This is not correct?
Yeah, Senator, yes, it's not insurance. It functions only to the extent that it's going to pay damages, but it's not an insurance policy. It doesn't. It's not structured similar to an insurance policy. It's more like a service contract or a guarantee like that. Or if you have an iPhone and Apple offers you coverage for the damage to an iPhone, that's not an insurance policy. It's damage protection.
Correct, but wouldn't this be like weaker protections for the actual owner of the property? So let's say it's an Airbnb type situation, and there's a checkbox now for this guaranteed insurance, and I hope they understand that this is not insurance when that disclaimer is checked. But wouldn't that be weaker protections for the actual owner of that property? For instance, if something does happen, the claim is not going to pay out full out, or so help me understand that.
Thanks, Senator. We don't see it as weaker protections. And you mentioned the understanding there. It is required in the bill that it's clearly stated that this is not insurance, so everyone understands that. That's one of the consumer protections in the bill as well. But it would work. It really works alongside your homeowner's insurance. This isn't supplanting your homeowner's insurance. So if you needed insurance, you still have that available to you. But this is a guarantee to give you an option for recourse for damages that might be caused while it is rented out.
Are there any caps on the?
I can only speak to our program, which has $3 million.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I have a question from Senator Robertson.
Chairwoman Kirkpatrick had for me.
Chairman Kirkpatrick, then. I see 3 and 4 lit up.
Yeah, she's on 3.
3, okay.
Yeah, y'all have confused me, which isn't hard to do at this time of day. But, so is this an agreement between the person who's renting the property and whoever the company they're renting it from, or the owner they're renting it from? And who's paying for it?
Thank you, Senator. I can take a step back and explain how our program works, which is that when the individual rents your property, if you were the host, contractually they owe you for any damage that's caused. In our case, what Airbnb does is we say that if they don't fulfill their obligations, we guarantee that we would pay you for that damage, and then we have the option of continuing to go after that renter. So we don't want the homeowner to have to chase down someone. That's how it works.
It's a selling point, I think, for Airbnb to get people to use their platform, because it's an added benefit for the renter. The person renting the property through their platform, it's an added benefit.
Yes, Senator. We see it as giving peace of mind to a homeowner. I know I would like to have that peace of mind. And you touched on this as well in your question. We don't charge for it. It's just something that's part of our terms and conditions. It's part of the base contract.
No free lunches, Senator.
My question is about,
I thought I had
Yeah.
you on.
that's okay. It's not the rostrum. It's more complicated. So it's no free lunch. Who pays for this?
Well, I always say that all costs are accounted for some way or another.
Well, all costs are accounted for. I agree with.
Yes.
I don't agree with free. So who
Correct.
pays for this?
Ultimately, it's a cost that is calculated and it would be accounted for either through the host's portion or the guest's portion. It's not something that's a line item for us. It's just a cost.
It's baked into the cost.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so where does the money come from? You
Uh,
said there's a $3 million cap when Senator Merritt asked, which that's a hefty cap for something that is not insurance, and we're talking about people punching through sheetrock and frat parties.
Yes, sir.
So where's the money come from? What insures this?
It's a guarantee. It's not insurance. So
I understand you're saying it's not insurance, but if you can fix something for up to $3 million, where's the $3 million?
Well, it's up to us to account
Us
for
being-
that. In our case, Airbnb.
Correct.
It's up to us to accrue and account for that, and we have no problem doing those accruals and doing that accounting. But one of the reasons why we have the reimbursement insurance policy as a requirement in the bill is in case there were another player in the industry who wanted to offer a guarantee, but maybe they weren't as responsible on their accrual and accounting processes. We have that reimbursement insurance policy as the backstop.
Well, my concern is you're saying that the homeowners are protected from having to use their homeowner policy. And I understand that. That keeps their rates down and, the number of claims down and everything else. So you have this side product for individuals who lease their homes out, and we'll use Airbnb as an example for Airbnb. And this side product can have a cap up to $3 million.
In our case, yes, sir.
In your case, correct. So somebody comes in there and tears this thing up, then Airbnb goes after the individual who did the damage. Would that be correct?
Yes, we have the option of doing so, yes, sir.
After Airbnb dips into a pool of money and pays for the repairs to this particular property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that pool of money comes from inside of Airbnb
Yes, sir.
as where you've taken profits and set them aside for this particular non-insurance product.
Yes, sir. If you want to think of it from an insurance paradigm, it would be like reserving for losses.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I was
Yes.
trying to figure out. Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, I'll recognize Senator Hodges for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along the same line, what Senator Robertson was asking, so Airbnb is going to maintain reserves, but you don't answer to the insurance commissioner about the adequacy of those reserves, like an insurance company would. So we're just sort of taking a flyer, if you will, the state is, which is the difference of it not being insurance as opposed to insurance, correct?
Yes, sir. And if I can comment
Sure.
on that, there have been, if you look at other similar arrangements, for instance, service contracts that are already in the statute, the way that they addressed possible concerns around this were through having minimum requirements for the net worth of the company, minimum cash on hand. We looked at that in the model process at NCOIL. We considered that, but the members, the legislators, the policymakers thought it was a stronger solution to have the reimbursement insurance policy requirement, so that then you have a regulated insurance product that sits in the background. It was an option not to do that, but that was the solution that they thought was most responsible.
Okay, and my other question would be, what as far around satisfaction? I own a house, I rent it out through Airbnb. Somebody comes in and breaks a window or tears up my refrigerator, and I've got an Anderson window, I've got maybe a Sub-Zero refrigerator, and then are you required to replace to my satisfaction? You are? Or are you just required to replace my Sub-Zero with a Sears and Roebuck refrigerator?
No, sir, is it replacement? Yeah, it's an ACV. It's an ACV value replacement of the, so we figure out what's
So the value, whatever the value was, but you might not replace my Anderson window with an Anderson window, you'd replace it with something of equal value.
In most cases, we are calculating the value, and then you make the decision on how
Okay,
to
all right.
place it.
And that's still, I mean, like where I live, there's a lot of vacation rental property. And, you know, there are a number of real estate companies that manage a lot of that. And then, of course, there's Airbnb. And if I'm renting my property and I can get an insurance product as opposed to the good name of the people who own the real estate company, I know what I'm gonna do. So
And-
it's a good idea.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Dean of the Senate with a question.
Thank you. Using the scenario, I think everybody before, as it relates to like an Airbnb, something like that. So right now, what happens if there's damage to the property? You have to use the property insurance on the house right now. And this, you're trying to establish as a kind of stopgap insurance that sort of fits in between what would ordinarily be but it would no longer apply to a property insurance. They can use whatever that fund is to draw down. So the cost is still to the person renting the place, right? But they carry the insurance. They sign a contract to carry the insurance. Is that right so far? Am I on the right track?
A little bit different. You're on the track, but a little bit different. And let me tell you that we actually already do this guarantee today. So it's not going to change what the marketplace looks
Okay.
like. It's codifying it. It's not a requirement on the person renting the property to take out anything. They are free to do so. There are certain travel insurance products that
Okay.
exist that they can take out to protect themselves. But this is a guarantee that's offered to the owner of the property.
Why would they need it if they got property insurance? Because they cannot do it now? Or this prevents them from utilizing their current property insurance? I'm trying to get the difference there.
Some property insurance, some homeowners insurance might exclude coverage altogether while you're renting your property commercially. And most homeowners policies are going to have deductibles that are high enough that almost all the type of property that's damaged in the rental process doesn't get covered.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hodges, did you have another
Just
question?
one more, just to clarify what we're trying to do with this legislation. What we're trying to do is Airbnb would like to offer this product, and what we're trying to do by legislating that it is not an insurance policy is to make it easier for them to do that. Is that correct? Did I ask the author?
Well, what I would say, what it's doing is this: they currently, when you let's rent your home to Airbnb,
Right,
they are currently giving you a guarantee
Right.
that is based upon the financial stability of Airbnb.
right.
And if there's damage to that is settled with them under their agreement with you in the rental. What this does, and I like your analogy of a catcher, there's a catcher they're the catcher, but then behind them is an insurance policy with an insurance company that's there that says that if they fail for any reason, then the insurance company comes into play. So it's a backup to the consumer that's renting his house out, that he not only has the guarantee from the Airbnb or whoever the vendor is, but he also has an insurance policy behind that as well,
So is that insurance company regulated somewhere by somebody
by the state
in which it's in, or the state of Georgia?
If it's in the state of Georgia, it would be the state commissioner of that.
If
that
it's
state.
selling, if it's backing up their guarantee in Georgia, then it's regulated by the insurance commissioner. Okay.
If it's an admitted policy, then it would be regulated here in Georgia. If it's a surplus lines policy, then it would
Yeah.
be regulated by the state in
In
which
which
they are
it's
domiciled.
domiciled, yeah, okay. Thank you, that's,
And I'll just also, if I may point out, that the bill also does give rulemaking authority to the insurance commissioner here so that they have some say in how it's administered.
All right, good questions. Think that answers our questions. Maybe not. Senator Merritt, you still have a question?
I guess it was answered, but I guess I'm back to, would this be regulated like an insurance company? Because we have heavy regulations. It just seems like to me this is to avoid being regulated by an insurance
So
company.
I think if you look at lines 15 through 21, it speaks to the regulation, I believe.
No, I don't see that.
Line 15, 16.
If there are insurer authorized to transact business in the state or a surplus lines insurer pursuant to the insurer agrees, I mean, that puts it under the purview of the insurance commissioner of Georgia if it's surplus lines. It would be under the insurance commissioner of wherever it's domiciled, but still the state of Georgia insurance commissioner has some authority even over surplus lines policies.
I'm sorry, that was line 15?
Yeah, it's kind of getting into the weeds, but if it's if an insurer is authorized to transact insurance, they're authorized by the insurance commissioner. That's what that means. That's the only person that can authorize an insurance company in Georgia is the commissioner.
And
Yeah.
if I may speak to that quickly, just that the existing laws around surplus line, placement of surplus lines insurance that are already in the code, that would apply as well. So it's not anything new or different than what we always do around surplus lines.
Okay, is there, what's the will of the committee? Recognize, move to pass, Senator Lucas. Do I have a second?
Happy to second. LC 461445S.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses and 2 noes. Does he get to vote? I think he would. He would. So it's 6 yeses and 2 noes.
I'm enthused. No, you cannot vote.
So while I still have the chair, I want to put a plug in to the committee members. INCOL is the National Council of Insurance Legislators, and Georgia is a member, the Georgia General Assembly is a member of INCOL, and we pay dues to be a member, and their conferences are very, very beneficial, very educational. You get a stipend if you want to go. Usually the stipend covers the full cost of the travel and lodging. It is a working conference. It's a lot of meetings and stuff, but if you want to really delve into insurance and issues that are going on related to insurance, health insurance, all kind of insurance all over the country. It's sort of a best practices forum where legislators get together and share what they're doing in their state, what they think needs to be done nationwide. As we've talked about before in this committee, insurance is regulated state by state. And we, as a states' rights person, I want it to stay that way, state by state. But to make it better for commerce and better for the consumer and more efficient, we really want the states to have as best as possible uniform laws because most of our insurance companies are selling and operating in multiple states. So we try to come up with these model laws so we have more of a uniform environment for commerce. So I encourage you all to look at the NCOIL calendar. They meet, I think, 3 times a year, and maybe try to participate. Again, we're paying already, the state's paying for you all to have access to it, so I wish y'all take advantage of it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, and I'll relinquish the chair.
Good advertisement. I want to thank my vice chair. If you will get us the information, I would like to let our office push out when those meetings are. And I think you're correct. That is a good place to go and learn what's going on in other states and to get ahead of that. If you'll get that to us, we will do that portion. We'll do that. Next is SB 528, Senator Robertson. If you will, would you like to present from right there?
Mr. Chairman, if you're okay, I'd be comfortable presenting from here.
What's your number?
Number 4.
Number 4, okay.
And I do want to say to the pro tem's announcement, I don't know that I could think of anything more exciting than to go and hang out with a bunch of insurance professionals.
Oh, man, we're great people.
Yeah, I thought watching the American hockey team win gold was exciting, but maybe not. It's thrilling. Yes, it sounds like it. Listen, this is all going to sound familiar to everybody because last year I was honored enough to carry a piece of legislation that required that commercial insurance plans allow for prosthetics. And I think everybody remembers we had a couple of people here at the Capitol. We had a young man that came and met with us and made us all aware of the challenges that face some of our young people with prosthetics, and also had the opportunity to hang out with a young man from Athens, Georgia, who was training for the Olympics. Ended up having a medical emergency, ended up losing his leg, and ended up practicing and competing in the Paralympics and winning multiple medals for himself and his University of Georgia family. And so we see the importance of this. All this legislation here does is simply move those same rights into the state health care benefit plan so that the employees that all of us sitting around this table are responsible for would have the same opportunity to live a life where their day-to-day life would be comfortable if they wanted to go take a shower, if they wanted to get out and participate in normal life, if they wanted to get out and run in the park or work at a job. They have that opportunity. And all this is doing is rolling those same rights into the state health care benefit plan. If you'll look at the legislation, I'm reading off Senate Bill 528, LC 521037. All we're doing is adding in here at the bottom on line 14, where it gives the date of January 1, 2027, such terms shall include, we've taken the word not out there, shall include any plans, policies, or contracts executed by the state to provide health care coverage on behalf of state employees, public school teachers and employees, and members of the employees of the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia and the retirees' independents. All we're doing is adding that they have the same opportunity that these other individuals have that we granted last year on the commercial side. And I know that this is a hearing only, but I know I believe we have some people here that are advocates for this type of legislation, and I would love for them to have the opportunity to testify, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. We have a committee question first, and then
Yes,
we will take that. Is that number 3, Senator Kirkpatrick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is, the technical college system, are they also covered under the state health benefit plan?
Yes, ma'am, they are, and I believe that where it says state employees, I think it's a little different because public school teachers are covered under TRS, and employees and members of the Board of Regents, I believe, are also covered under TRS. And maybe that's the separation of those two, but yes, it would include all state employees.
Okay. Number 12. Okay. Gonna look at-
Let me ask you,
Oops.
Senator Robinson, would you have a problem with a little amendment that says that they will also cover injections to bad knees?
Having a couple of bad knees myself, I think the state healthcare benefit plan should already have that in there.
They do not.
I would love to research that, and if you have your insurance with Senator Harbison, I would be concerned about that not being included in the plan.
No,
No, I would be happy to look into that. I think the good senator knows where I stand on taking care of our employees, and I think if something in there is not in there, I would love to look at that.
they will cover a knee replacement, but will not cover injections, which is like grease when you have bone on bone.
Yes, sir. I'd love to look at that with you, Senator. My focus on prosthetics over these past 2 years has been, I think, they brought this kid up here and introduced him to me, and he was one of the most articulate, well-versed young men that taught me a whole lot about life with prosthetics. And I think at one time I asked him what his most fun was, and he said taking his prosthetic off and hitting his brother with it. And he's as normal as any of the rest of us, and so I want him to live a life like us. And at the same time, we talk about ERS and how we need to put money in there for our employees to make sure they have a comfortable retirement. But at the same time, we need to make sure they have a quality of life equal to what we have. I've been blessed. I have 3 children, and they're all very healthy. And I have family members that are all very healthy, but not everybody's as blessed as I am. And so I want them to have the same life experience. And I think this is a small, tiny investment just to make this change in legislation. And I think the physical impact will be almost non-existent.
Good deal. We've had somebody who wanted
Yes.
to speak. Come right on. We'd love to hear from you. Come on up.
Sit next to you, Mom, so she
doesn't Yeah.
get nervous. How did she do it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee for having
Give
me.
us your name and where you're from and who your extra guest is as well.
I would love to tell you my story. My name is Rachel Oyer, and I am a member of So Everybody Can Move here in Georgia. My husband is the president of Georgia Society of Orthotists and Prosthetists, and we own a company, Alliance Prosthetics and Orthotics. We have the privilege of treating patients here in Georgia, in Gainesville, Mulberry, as well as Brazelton, and most recently we have had a patient come all the way from Rome, Georgia to our clinic, and I'd love to tell her story shortly. But my honorary guest here is my son. I have 4 sons, actually. 3 of them are here at Teen Pact. Chairman Harbin, I've got to hear you speak at that organization, sat next to your lovely wife. And my children have learned that you become a great citizen when you advocate for others at the government level. And he has a ball game, and I had a plan, but y'all's meeting moved to 4. So I'm going to talk hard and fast to get him to his ball game because he has no driver to take him to his game. So as you can understand, as a mom, as a fellow Georgian, the story I have to share, he understands if he has to be a little late because it matters more than a ball game. Hannah Neighbors, and I learned from last year not to pass it out, but they will be delivered to your office. She has a little thank you note. Hannah Neighbors is a state employee. She actually is a 4th grade special education teacher. She was driving exactly 1 year ago today at 7:45 a.m. A driver under the influence of drugs ran a stop sign and hit her vehicle. She was driving with her son. Her son was completely unharmed, which every mother is so grateful to hear, but Hannah was trapped in a car for 2 hours. Hannah then was removed from the car, resulting in the accident. She lost her leg below the knee. Hannah is a mom, is a wife, is an incredible athlete, is a coach. She ran 4 miles prior to that accident. And Hannah was so excited because she knew that we were working on this legislation last year and thought, when she went to go get her prosthesis that she would be awarded a running prosthesis to get back out there. But as a state employee, she was not afforded that opportunity. Her town decided to run a 5K for her this past summer, and Jared Wallace, also the Paralympian that Senator Robertson spoke about, worked with a charitable organization, and together they were able to afford a running prosthesis, which led her to my clinic. So my husband, Jason, is my favorite prosthetist. That gets a good joke all the time. But if you know what a prosthetist does, is they fit amputees with prosthetic devices and help them achieve personal mobility goals. It is our privilege and our honor to treat patients in their worst hour. And Jason and a team of people were able to find a running prosthesis that would match Hannah's energy and goals, because she's not an average special education teacher. She is one of the best special education teachers. She's up for many awards. You can look her up. Her name is Hannah Neighbors, and she teaches every day with incredible zeal and excellence, but the way she does that is she exercises beforehand. And so since her accident, was not able to really exercise, so Jason made sure that she had a prosthesis that she could run in. Hannah has actually been awarded a bib to the Boston Marathon, and she is going to run in April. Wow. She testified in the House Health Committee, and there was not a dry eye in that committee. And I'm sorry that she can't be here today, but she gave me a voice memo and said that personally she just needed to be with her family and hug her children, and thank God that she's alive today. I carry a lot of stories wherever I go. I get to share the people behind this legislation. I know them personally, and I appreciate every single person who serves at our state level to make sure that 0.1% of our state has what they need. Hannah's husband, Josh, is also a high school education, physical education teacher, and so therefore also on state health benefit plan. His dream for his wife is that she can get out of bed and take a shower. Currently, Hannah gets out of bed and hops on one leg to go to the shower. That is something that if you are married, you would not want your spouse to do. As a fellow human being, I'd ask that you consider favorably when it comes to a vote. I'm proud to say that last year, when we had a fiscal note that did not match my math, I was a little nervous, and we removed state health benefit plan to work with Department of Community Health. I worked with them this past summer, asked them to really identify how they were curating that note. And I'm very proud that the DCH and all of the people who prepare fiscal notes came back with $1.4 million instead of $55 million, which my math was 1.5. So I'm not a genius, but I do actually know my business, and I do know that this is pennies for massive impact. And this population, they need us to support them. The Paralympics is coming to our nation in 2028. And do you know that Paralympic athletes do not have coverage for secondary devices? And we as a nation need to support our athletes. And so I appreciate all of your consideration, and I stand open for questions.
I just want to say fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
You for bringing from words to life, and just sharing with us that story and your experience there. That's thank you. I just want to say thank you. Senator Steele, we got you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for not giving up on this. Thank you for keep pushing. It was great getting to know you when we started these conversations last year, and I'm glad that we're still keeping it going, and I assure you that you have a lot of friends in this building.
Thank you.
Also, good luck this afternoon.
Yeah. Important question.
Yes,
What
sir.
position do you play?
I play outfield and first base.
Play outfield, first base?
Yes, sir.
How good are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good. I appreciate y'all coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank you, but we will have this open for a vote on Thursday when we meet, and I just want to thank you, and thank you for being here. And your mom loves you and cares for you, but this is an important part of what she's doing. Thank you for speaking for those who can't speak for themselves, and you did a great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We'll be back Friday for Teen Pact. We look forward to seeing you all.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. SB 509. Our great Senator Williams. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I bring before you Senate Bill 509, LC 521015. You know, listening to this previous bill brings to mind how a lot of times we author legislation because it affected us or it affected someone we know or it affected a constituent. This one, 509, affected me and my family. Started out on July the 3rd. This year will be 3 years ago. My wife came to me and said, I have a lump. And sure enough, she did. And here it was July the 4th weekend. Monday morning, she was on the phone calling her doctor and getting an appointment and getting mammogram and getting tests and biopsies. And August the 4th, I think it was, she had a double mastectomy. And you know, what also was helpful that our daughter is an RN. She's an oncology nurse, and she administers chemotherapy to cancer patients every day. Bless her heart. Her heart is very big, and she loves every one of her patients. But what happens after breast cancer, and it doesn't just affect women, it affects men very much. And as I've introduced this bill and talked to people, and they tell me of friends and family members that are male that have had mastectomies, but there's no follow-up. After, I think, age 40, that insurance companies would pay for a mammogram for a female annually. Is that not correct? But after having a double mastectomy, there's no follow-up. Oh, they can draw blood and they're making advancements, other tests. But what my bill is saying, insurance companies, let's do a PET scan, let's do a CAT scan, let's do chest imaging test to look at and to see if that cancer has come back. We have several friends in Milledgeville that after 16 years, they had one breast removed. After 16 years, it came back in the other one. And so there's always a possibility. Now, no one else in my wife's family had breast cancer until my wife did. Within a year, her niece had breast cancer and had a double mastectomy. And she's not even 40 years old. And she's an RN married to a doctor in Gainesville. So, ladies and gentlemen, this affected me. It's affected people every day. And all I'm asking is let's get the insurance companies to the table and talk about this. And I know PET scans are expensive. So is treating cancer. Treating cancer is very expensive also. But you know what happens when they don't find it in time? As we heard oncology doctors talking in regulated industry, if they don't find it in time because they can't get a PET scan within 2 to 3, 4 weeks, it could be the difference between too late. And you know what too late means. It's a death sentence. I ask for your favorable consideration. I'll try to answer any question that I can.
Number 3.
Senator Kirkpatrick.
Thank you. I guess my question for you, Senator Williams, is Medicaid included? Did you intend to include Medicaid?
Yes, it down on the very, I think, lines 37, it starts including but not limited to those contracts executed by the state on behalf of indigents and on behalf of state employees under Article 1 of Chapter 18 by a healthcare corporation, health maintenance organization, fraternal benefit society. I think there's something on federal that we can't touch.
Right, yeah, we can't do ERISA plans, they're not under the jurisdiction, but some of the Medicaid programs handle more than indigents, they handle people with disabilities, and so I just was trying to be clear on which programs were included
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
bill.
Thank you.
Okay. Senator Stills?
Thank you, Chairman. This is a very important bill. I'm wondering what other states have instituted measures like this, or would Georgia be the first?
I don't know the answer to that, sir.
Do we know an approximate number of women and men, as we've discussed, that are affected in Georgia annually by breast cancer?
No, I don't. I don't
Okay.
have that figure.
Just trying to wrap my head around how many lives this could save.
Yeah, it's, and it's showing up in different people, different stages, and there's even people in the legislature, men and women, that have had it.
Right.
And it affects us all, and you know, it's very much, I feel very much needed, and I thank you for your consideration. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Could I ask, is there a physical note on this as far as the
No,
cost?
sir, it is not a fiscal note on this. This is something, and to get the insurance companies to the table and to deal with. But they, you know, right now, they will pay for the mammogram after age 40. They will pay for a mammogram annually.
Yeah.
But at 40 years old, you have a double mastectomy, then they say, sorry, Charlie, you're on your own.
So your thought is that this would bring them to the table as far as discussion and
Start at least furnishing it. I know there may be some cost-sharing requirements applicable to diagnosing breast examinations, but, you know, that's covered in the bill. A health benefit policy that provides coverage for diagnostic breast examinations shall include provisions that ensure that the cost-sharing requirements applicable to diagnostic breast examinations and supplemental breast screening examinations. And it's just something that I feel like, you know, we need to do.
am I correct? Is this because I'm reading line 35, it would be any individual group plan, which would also, we would pick up the state plan as well. So this is not just the state plan as the previous bill was. This would be all policies, individual group, whatever.
Yes, sir.
From that standpoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I think it's worth pursuing. I'd like to work with you as far as how to bring them to the table as far as that. Also,
Thank you,
Senator Harbison, if we will, please.
Mr. Chairman, Senator, I want to commend you for bringing this forward. In my family, we've experienced the same thing. My wife had double mastectomy and ultimately succumbed to the cancer behind it. But what I'm trying to clarify is the PET scan as opposed to the other kind of X-ray operation. You're saying it does not allow for PET scans as often as it needed, or you're advocating for more PET scans, which you illustrated in your talk was more costly.
What I'm advocating for is the PET scan. The other C scans are not as detailed, and they don't show what the PET scan shows. The PET scan is more detailed, and I know they're costly, but it's also costly to treat cancer. And if it's caught in an early enough stage, it can be treatable and not be as is extensive.
But
But
I-
also, I think with the more tests being done, you're gonna see a cost come down because there's gonna be an increase in the number of PET scans. So they will be doing it in volume. We heard in regulated industries, a group of oncology doctors that were in Augusta, and they were trying to get the CON set aside so they could build center in Augusta. But because of the CON, they wound up building in South Carolina, North Augusta, South Carolina. And they put in PET scan machines. This is something we allowed them to do, to set aside the CON law just a couple of years, just last year, year before last. So as it becomes more common, then I think the cost is gonna go down. And I think the insurance companies will be able to realize that, and hopefully that we can have this to go into effect.
My question is further, if I may, Mr. Chairman. It seems that if I recall, I'm trying to recall, was it utilization of a PET scan because the cancer progressed after over a period of 6 years and got worse. It was stage 4 at first. And then they kept up with it, and then they would try one protocol, and then that would wear out, and then another one as it progressed and became more prolific in her treatment. But you're saying right now that does not happen. The doctor kept up with it at the Amos Cancer Center there in Columbus and tried to make sure every now and then they would come up with a new protocol. That worked for a while, then it came loose again, and then they just have, over the 6 years, it was a long, harrowing kind of situation that ended up in her demise. So I'm just saying, I thought as it got to stage 4 and they would try one thing, then another, I didn't realize it was not a CAT scan, a PET scan that did it. So it was a CAT scan, you're saying.
Well, Dean, I am so sorry for your loss, and I'm sorry for what you and your wife went through, and I'm sorry for your loss, son. And that's why I'm trying to be proactive and bring this. Until our families are affected, then we don't understand and realize what needs to happen. But thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Number 11. Mike? Senator Hodges?
Thank you, Senator, for bringing this very important. Your line 3.
Line 3.
Line 3, health benefit policies to cover an annual chest imaging test and, quote, any additional medically necessary chest imaging test. Who decides what's medically necessary?
That would be up to the doctor, the oncologist.
Does it, you think it needs to say that? Because, I mean, who does it now? And I might ask a doctor. I mean, does the insurance company decide what's medically necessary now? Does the doctor decide?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Senator Kirkpatrick, do you want to respond to that? Or I know that.
Well,
Does
that's a big subject because, as you know, physicians order treatments, tests, imaging studies, labs, whatever, medications. But for people who are covered by insurance, the insurance company has a process that we have to go to try to get approval for those tests. And the insurance companies either agree to pay for it or they deny paying for it.
So will we still be in the same place with this language? Does this language need to be changed? That was my question.
I don't
It
think,
doesn't say who, I mean, will the insurance company still?
I don't think that's gonna make any difference, to be honest, but, I mean, medical necessity is the key word.
Yeah, but that's what it is now, right?
That's what it is now, right.
So I would just, Senator, I would just mention you might ought to check into that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much, Senator. Thank you.
Find a way to work with you on this. I think it's a great bill. I think it's a need that needs to be recognized. And how do we go through this? Because we're not only going to affect the state plan, we're going to affect really all insurance plans. And how we need to work through that together, I'd like to work with you if we can, and make that happen. Is that fair?
Well, I'd like to move the bill forward. We're on a time deadline, and I'd like to ask for your favorable consideration.
Okay.
And
Today
move the
we're
bill
doing on
forward.
hearing, but we have a meeting on Thursday, and we'll help you move that forward, okay?
Okay.
And, we had one more comment, Senator Lucas.
Mr. Chairman, I guess Senator Hobbs and I need to put a bill in so our state health benefit plan would give us the injections in our knee rather than to lay on the table for a knee replacement.
Don't forget me on that one, remember?
Yeah, you part of the crew too.
That's right.
Okay, we may have to call that the, Senator Lucas bill, right?
Now we're gonna call it the knee bill.
The knee bill, okay. What's that? They need knees, okay. Well, we will do that. We will address that, work with you on that portion, and we may have a new bill coming to us as well on the knees as far as that.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Mr.
with
Chairman.
that,
Thank you, committee.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everybody,
much.
and for that, we'll dismiss. Have a
Thank
great
you.
week.